go through Brilliant Metrics and how we use Google Analytics 4 and how you can take advantage of the data that we're piping into it. So to get started, the biggest problem with marketing analytics is not lack of data. The biggest problem with marketing analytics is lack of data going in. There's plenty of data coming out, but if it isn't properly organized on the way in, then it's really hard to get insights out of that data. It's a garbage in, garbage out problem. So at Brilliant Metrics, we work very hard to address the garbage in part and make sure that there's lots of rich data supporting the data that you're getting out. That type of data that describes data is called metadata. And that's our goal, is to get as much metadata into Google Analytics as possible. So how do we do that? Well, we tag URLs, first of all, with as much information about where that traffic came from as possible. So this includes information about the audience, the medium, the targeting, the creative, and anything else that is relevant about how that link got to be in front of that particular person. After somebody clicks on that link, then we're going to track their activity on the website through a bunch of rich event tagging. So when somebody engages in a particular action on the site, we want to make sure that a corresponding event gets sent over to Google Analytics. And then we track whether that event is just an event or if that event is something that could be considered a soft conversion, or if that event is something that should be considered a hard conversion or a revenue generating conversion. And then finally, those two things combined gives us the opportunity to pull data back out of Google Analytics 4 because we set up custom dimensions and metrics. So all of that rich metadata that we use to tag those URLs comes out as a custom dimension on the other side, meaning a way to slice and dice the data on the way back out. And then soft conversions, hard conversions, and other relevant metrics come out as custom metrics. In Universal Analytics, the old version of analytics, we had a limit of 20 custom dimensions, and we wanted to make sure to leave a good number of those for clients for whatever they might feel they need to slice and dice their relevant media, traffic, content, etc. by. So we tried to limit our use to under 10. We had 9 standard ones we would implement with most clients, and you can see that in the list. Now with GA4, that limit increases to 50, at least for right now. And so we increased the number of pieces of information we pushed with every single click or session to the website, up to what you see on the screen, which I think is somewhere around 15, maybe 20. We're working on even pushing even more data, including some user dimensions as well. So the bottom line is, with this transition over to GA4, we get the opportunity to push a lot more information, a lot more context to that session into Google Analytics. But along with this new power came some new constraints. First of all, if we want to push that much information, we can't shove it all in the URL. We got around that with Universal Analytics because we used a tool called Data Import that let us import additional metadata associated with the session. Well, GA4 doesn't have a data import, and we can't shove it all in the URL. So we had to figure out a new solution. The other challenge right now is that GA4 doesn't support session level custom dimensions. So that means we can slice and dice events, but we can't slice and dice whole sessions. Well, we came up with a workaround, and that workaround is a tool called Happy URL. Happy URL currently is a headless tool, meaning there's no UI for you to log into, but we're working on fixing that so you can use Happy URL for your own use as well. But in the short term, it allows us to take a line item ID, and line items are our smallest unit of breakdown when it comes to the media, organic and paid, that we manage on behalf of you. It allows us to take that line item and upload all of the relevant information to Happy URL. And then when somebody visits a link that's tagged with that line item ID, all that rich information flows into Google Tag Manager, and then from Google Tag Manager, it flows into Google Analytics. We also are able to use all of that rich segmentation information to build cookie ID audiences and feed that data into our other tool, SegmentWire. I'm not going to get into the details of SegmentWire today because that's kind of out of context of today's video. But SegmentWire lets us take that information from all that rich metadata and build audiences on your behalf. In the future, it'll be possible to use some of this rich information for personalization as well. So putting it all together, we have Brilliant Metrics, our reporting infrastructure, pushes the line item and all of its relevant information up to Happy URL. And then we tag all of our URLs with a line item ID and a creative ID. And what happens is when somebody clicks on that tagged URL, Tag Manager will go and ask Happy URL for all of the relevant information about that line item ID. It'll get back all of that rich metadata, and it'll push all of that rich metadata along with events into Google Analytics 4. Okay, what does all of this mean to you? Well, it means at least for the media managed by Brilliant Metrics for now, although we're hoping to open up Happy URL sometime in the next year, you have the ability to use explorations inside of Google Analytics to slice and dice your media run through us in any way that you see fit in order to get the insights that you need. Our team also makes use of this when doing ad hoc analysis as well. You can create custom reports and custom dashboards inside of Google Analytics as well, or inside of Google Data Studio if you so choose. Let's take a look at this. So if I'm over here in Google Analytics 4 and I want to come over here to Explorations, I can create a new free-form exploration here. Now, loaded in here are a series of dimensions and metrics. These are the basic ones that exist out of the box, and right now we're breaking things down by city. But what I can add over here is, let's say I want to know what Brilliant Metrics program that traffic came from. I can go and add the custom dimension of program into my report and then drag program over here to my rows. And now I can see that my unsegmented program drove 92 active users from Columbus, Ohio for some reason. And that looks interesting. I could dig into why that might be. I can get rid of city here and just look at the traffic by program. I could add a dimension here of campaign. Campaign is nice. We push some really relevant information into Campaign. We push the program name. We also push what we call our stream and our slots. You can get an idea of this is the unsegmented program. These are the brand ads within that, and this is the first slot inside of brand ads. We only have one slot for our brand ads. Here are our webinar ads for unsegmented. Manufacturing webinar is here. So you start to see which media is driving traffic in a nice and easy to understand breakdown way. I can also add some metrics. So let me go back and push that program back in. And let me add a metric here of soft conversions. So all I have to do is drag that over here. And we can see our soft conversions broken down. In this case, we have a breakdown by device category. I'm going to get rid of that. That's hard to read. So now we can see inside of each of our programs, which programs are driving soft conversions. Okay, so we talked about custom explorations, but what about custom reports? Well, you can use these dimensions in custom reports as well. So if I come into reports here, I can come down to my library and actually add additional sections over here. So you can see over here we have cycle report test. That was from some testing I was doing. But we can create a new collection and we can create new reports within that collection. So let me create a new detail report here. And there's a variety of different templates I can start from, or I can start with a blank report. I'm just going to go ahead and start with an events. Actually, we'll do conversions here. Okay, so here I can see my basic conversions, but I can only look at these by event name. That's the only only selection here, but what if I want to add another dimension that I could, filter this on? We'll just add program here to make it easy. I can hit apply, and now we have the ability to take a look at this by program as well and see all of our conversions here. If I want to filter in on a particular conversion event, scroll over 50% in this case, I can see which of my programs are driving the most of those individual conversions. So you get an idea of how you can add this. Then I can save this report. And look at that data there. Now I could also, if I wanted to, create a report that was specific to a given program, market segment, etc. So let me come over here to, we'll go to traffic acquisition, create a traffic acquisition report. And then over here, we can add a filter to the report. So I want to filter on, let's make this all brand ads. Actually, let's make it all content. So this is all of our content offerings. We'll do content and workshop and hit apply. And now I can see where all of our content and workshop traffic is coming from. And I can save this report as content and workshop traffic. Pretty powerful, huh? So the last thing is you have the ability to create custom dashboards in Google Looker Studio, formerly Google Data Studio. And within those custom dashboards, you could basically present whatever data you want from Google Analytics. The key thing to understand about dashboarding right now is that we don't have the ability to pull cost or impression data into dashboards. So it will just be your engagement on the website, what happens after somebody gets there. I hope you found this video valuable and it helps you understand a little bit more about how Brilliant Metrics plugs data into Google Analytics for our use and your use alike.